Hello and welcome to the Daily Royal. My name is Shelby and I have been a royal watcher for the past 10 years. In this podcast, I talk about the daily events of 7 of the European monarchies. So I talk about Belgium, the UK, Denmark, the Netherlands, Norway, Spain, and Sweden. I upload Monday through Friday with occasional bonus episodes here and there. Today, we will be talking about all of the events from Tuesday, April 27th, 2021. Holy moly, guys. Today was a big day. So, and also it was big because, of course, I've talked about this already, but, personally, I've got some stuff going on that is just an adjustment, and also, so I mentioned I was in training for a new job, and now I'm starting that new job tomorrow, which is really good. It's actually really awesome. I'm going to be working from home. It's lovely. But because of that, I have a lot of different things that need to be kind of tied up and wrapped in a pretty little bow to start my new work week and new work schedule and all of that. And also just some things that needed taken care of in general life. Had to get a passport, things like that. The passport, by the way, is the first step in my trip to the UK next year for Queen Elizabeth's Platinum Jubilee, which is the 70th anniversary of her reign. So, one step closer to that being an official thing. Just lots of things that had to happen. All good, but all just necessary, and it was it was really warm today. I think I've mentioned, I live in Ohio, and so we have weird weather patterns, and today it was 81 degrees, and so I was outside a lot because it was beautiful, and I did a lot of, royal watching, but not a lot of, outline writing or the official parts of this podcast until after 8 p.m. I typically am done recording by 8, but that's okay. It's now 9:30 and we're just starting, but that's okay. I'm a night owl, so we'll get it all done. So, without too much more of an intro, just lots happening, and then the day itself was super, super busy for all the royals. I think we had something in 6 out of the 7 countries, and a few of them are pretty big things. So, buckle in. Here we go. Let's go to the Belgian royal family. There was one event today in Belgium, which is totally fine. It allows for the Belgian segment to be pretty short. Like I mentioned, busy day, so trying to cut corners, not corners, but cut time as much as possible, which I'm doing a terrible job at because I'm feeling very rambly today. I just have a lot to say, which is good, but also not good. So today, Queen Mathilde visited the exhibition, The World of Clovis, to focus on the support of the cultural sector, of course, after the pandemic, and this exhibit at the Marmont Museum focuses on the Merovingian period, which is all about cultural influences and religious practices, trade, exchanges, all of it. So it's pretty cool from what the couple of pictures that the Belgian royal family shared. But let's see, I'm trying to see. So I haven't talked about, because really we've seen Queen Mathilde do very few, everybody for the most part, do very few outside their home / palace engagements or office. And Matilde has this thing, and it warms my heart because it speaks to me in a way that not very many people understand in the world, or actually a lot of people do, they just don't admit they do. But she matches her face mask to some element in her outfit, and I love it because I do the exact same thing, or I try to. Sometimes I miss because I am not rich and don't have endless amounts of face masks, but I do have a good few. So if I don't have one that matches, I will typically wear just a plain black cloth mask or a medical mask, depending on the situation I'm in. However, Queen Matilde today had on like a white dress with red leaf design, floral design. It's really pretty. And her shoes, bag, and mask are all the same color of maroon as the leaves in her dress. And it's lovely. And I just, to be so matchy, it is my goal in life. So that is what was happening today in Belgium. And now let's go ahead and move on to the UK. Today in the UK, it was my favorite event, British royal family style, aka the ambassadors presented their credentials to Queen Elizabeth today, in what is her first public engagement since the funeral of Prince Philip, which is very sad, but I was so excited to see her, and so the way the British royal family right now, or Queen Elizabeth, is doing these, and I love it, she holds virtual audiences with the new ambassadors. So the new ambassadors go to Buckingham Palace. Queen Elizabeth is obviously at Windsor Castle, and they use a computer conferencing software, who knows which one, to have a virtual audience upon the new ambassador's arrival to the UK. So that's really fun, and it's a really creative way, and of course, it fits with like UK guidelines. It also really protects the Queen in terms of her health, just because of her age, like she needs to be super protected. So today, she received the new ambassadors from the Republic of Latvia and the new ambassador from the Republic of the Côte d'Ivoire, or the Ivory Coast, because my French is terrible. Also, I don't speak French, so it is really terrible because I don't speak it. And this is something that will frequently happen. And again, I talked about this yesterday. The minute we have some U.S. ambassadors that are going to some monarchies will be probably a day that I kind of lose my mind a little bit because I will be so excited. However, it doesn't seem like my government is in a huge rush to name ambassadors. We do have a few other things that are going on. I understand. Also, we're just a dumpster fire over here all the time. Don't worry, I know. So that is Queen Elizabeth's Day, and then also today, which is giving me such hope for events on Thursday, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge visited 2 projects in County Durham, which is in England, that these 2 organizations that they visited, which we'll talk about in a minute, were 2 of the 26 charities that were chosen by then Prince William and Kate Middleton to benefit from donations to their royal wedding charitable gift fund, which means, so instead of sending the couple gifts, because obviously they're royals and like don't need things because they can buy things and have a lot of things provided for them, they ask for charitable donations made in their name to the or made to their fund, and then that fund dispersed evenly between the 26 organizations. So they first visited a sustainable farm in Darlington, focused all on just adorable things because, like, baby animals are the cutest. But they toured the farm. There are, it's a 5th generation farm, and so they also each took turns driving. Driving is the word I'm going to use. However, it's a self-driving tractor. Literally, here's what they had to do. And Kensington Palace made a really cute Instagram story, which I don't know if they've changed their social media strategy, but today it was really, really good. So it's called How to Drive a GPS Self-Steering Tractor. Step 1, get in. Step 2, find the on button. Step 3, start the tractor. Step 4, sit back and let the self-driving tractor do the work. I mean, come on. It was so cute. There's also, like, really cute videos that go along with it. It's great. There were baby lambs. A lamb is inherently a baby, but I like calling them baby lambs. It was just really, really cute. I liked it. And then later they visited this is a fun name for an organization, Cheesy Waffles Project, which is an organization who support young people with additional needs across the county. Cheesy Waffles Project. I just love it. So Cheesy Waffles Project received support from the Key, which is the organization chosen in 2011. So they got to just interact with some kids and have, like, a grand old time. They practiced golf, which who knew? And it was just like a fun, casual. I love it. I want to go to a farm now. It was great. It was such a good day. So this is giving me some hope for 10th anniversary stuff going on. I really don't know what they're going to do, if they're going to do anything on Thursday. I am more optimistic than I probably should be, not going to lie. So, but that is what was going on publicly in the UK. We are going to pull up now the court circular, which is giving me all the things. So many pop-ups today, guys. So, sorry, I'm doing this on my phone, which is slower. Okay, so the court circular, April 27th, 2021. The 2 new ambassadors, we already knew that, and then the events from the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge. It seems like that is all that was going on. I have heard a probably well-founded rumor that the Prince of Wales is taking some time to just have some quiet reflection after his father's passing, and will assumingly return to work probably next week. So I don't expect to see much from him or the Duchess of Cornwall too much this week, but watch them all prove me wrong. So that is what was going on in the UK. There was nothing happening today in Denmark, and so now we are going to the main event of the day, to the Dutch royal family. Today in the Netherlands, it is, because it is April 27th, it is King Willem-Alexander's birthday. So today he turned 54. Let's find out. Hold on. I'm fairly certain it's 54, but I want to make sure. Yes, 54. And so in the Netherlands on the king's birthday, and this changes with every monarch. King Willem-Alexander's mother observed it on her, like, anniversary of her inauguration, which is April 30th. So that's what she used because she has, I think, a winter birthday. So they used April 30th because it was going to be a better like temperature out and more of a fun kind of day. So they use that before, and then when Willem Alexander became king in 2014 on April 27th became Koningsdag, or King's Day. And this is a day, so typically it's always, so today included, it's a national holiday. Everything is pretty much closed and the entire country comes together to celebrate this day. Some countries will have this as like their national day. So this is like kind of a Dutch answer to a national day. It's the day where they celebrate the king, and have a day off work. And in the Netherlands, they use it to just have like a generally good time. It's a party day. Everyone will wear orange. I even wore orange today because, like, why not? It was great fun. It's just like a really fun celebratory day. And so how the royal family typically does this is they will go to a town in the Netherlands, and spend the whole day there. For the most part, they will go, they will like talk to every single person, they'll participate in activities, they do some press, like so many things. And obviously, we are in the middle of a pandemic, so it's a little different, because you can't really greet everyone, and you can't have large crowds of people. But, and last year the event was canceled, and there were things that were held virtually, but for the most part, it was all inside the palace, because it was still early on in the pandemic. Now we've kind of found out ways to adapt. And so last year it was supposed to be in Eindhoven. They had to cancel, and so it was postponed essentially to this year. So Eindhoven hosted King's Day this year. So the royal family did go to the town, and there was this setup, this like studio setup, focused on King's Day. So the royal family arrived in some pretty cool cars. I didn't do a ton of research on these cars because I didn't make time to, which is a fail. I know. I'm very sorry. I'm gonna see. So there was a solar powered car, and then I think this might be the D8. I don't know. It's such a funny looking car. It's so cool. I'll have pictures posted on the website, thedailyroyal.com. You can definitely check them out. It's a really cool car. That King Willem Alexander drove with Amalia inside, or the Princess of Orange. But it was King Willem Alexander, Queen Maxima, and then the A-team, which is Amalia, Alexia, and Ariane, all arrived. And then they took part in lots of different events. There was like a quiz about the region, which sounds like the most boring. There was some food. All the girls did these like driving simulations, which is hilarious because, oh dear. I don't know what the driving age is in the Netherlands, but I think I think it's 18, and I think Amalia's almost there because she'll be 18 in December. And it's a little, I'm a little concerned now. Luckily, the Netherlands runs primarily on, walking and biking. So, and she'll be driven around for most of her public engagement. So I'm feeling a little bit better. But that's okay. So lots of different activities throughout the day, interviews. So for the first time, all three of the girls were interviewed. So in 2019, Amalia had her first like press interview, and then this year, all of the girls took part. They talked a little bit about like themselves, their interests. Amalia talked about her upcoming gap year, so she'll begin taking her final exams in a couple of weeks from her, I'm gonna call it high school. It's not quite high school, but that's what I'm calling it. And then she'll take a gap year before continuing on to university studies. They've announced that much. They haven't shared too much, and maybe they won't share what she's going to be doing on her gap year, but she talked about that. I think Alexia talked a little bit about her upcoming transition to the United World College in Wales. And it was funny because if that's what she was talking about, Google Translate might have missed that. She was talking about having experiences, that have nothing to do with the crown. And all I could think was, except the next Queen of Spain is going to be there too. I don't know. It was just a really funny thing. And then, just overall a lot of different activities. And then in the evening, the royal family attended the rehearsals for a concert that was happening tonight. I guess I don't know if it's I don't really think it's a band. I think it's a group of like different artists that have all come together to create this like show that is able to be live streamed and you can buy tickets to. Normally the King's Day concert was free. And so it was really fun. They had it set up kind of like a bar, but of course it was really just the performers on the stage. And then during the rehearsal, the royal family was there, but I don't think were there during the show. I haven't watched the whole concert yet, but I don't think they were physically there. And they were probably watching at home, I think. So that was the day. It's a lovely day. King's Day is really great. I ended up not watching it live. I woke up and I was feeling pretty tired still, so I have watched the whole live stream. I just didn't watch it live because it was at 6 in the morning or something crazy like that. They may have even arrived at 10:30 Netherlands time, which is 4:30 my time, like AM. That was not happening. So, there was at one point, King Willem-Alexander made a statement. This was a very special King's Day in Corona time. I want to thank everyone for that. This was a King's Day to never forget and hopefully never repeat. So with that, we are going to end our King's Day discussion and move on to the Norwegian royal family. In Norway today, again, a lot of events today, and a lot of them were really, really spectacular. So today, Crown Prince Haakon and a delegation from Norway visited San Francisco. They didn't actually visit San Francisco. They virtually visited San Francisco, but they didn't actually come all the way to California for a 2-hour visit. That didn't actually happen. Although I did see one person go like, wait, he went to California? That seems stupid. He did not. No, he was in Norway, and it was all shot on a green screen. So there are photos of him like on Stanford's campus and Berkeley's and with the Golden Gate Bridge, but it was all on a green screen. It was wonderful. So the focus was on the sustainable, hold on, I want to get this wording right. So a virtual visit to focus on the leading role in climate and technology. So obviously San Francisco and the Bay Area, the San Francisco Bay Area are like tech haven. It's where all the tech companies are pretty much located, or have their headquarters for the most part, not all of them, but most of them. And a lot of tech companies are getting really, really involved in climate and green technology, and, you know, think like Tesla, although Tesla may be a bad example because it might be based in LA, but I'm not sure. It might be in San Francisco. But like Apple and some of their green changes, Google, these are the mainstream. There are a lot of tech companies up there that are doing a lot more climate-focused work. So it goes on to talk about how this is the first major virtual visit that Norway has done. And then it goes on to share the actual, like, day. So the Norwegian participants were in a studio in Oslo, and the Americans in a studio in San Francisco. But for those who watched the conference, it looked like everyone was in the same room, which it really kind of does. Because then they show a screenshot of the Crown Prince, the Secretary of State for Norway, and then the Deputy Governor in California. And it looks like they're on the same screen, kind of, but, like, there's a difference. And so the governor of California was involved, Gavin Newsom, he's facing a hard time. Norway's ambassador to the U.S. The U.S. does not have an ambassador to Norway at the time. I'm sure we have, like, a chargé d'affaires, which is the person running the embassy and acting as the ambassador. So they talked about the climate change that California has especially experienced with the major forest fires that California has had. And they just have, like, a general talk. And then the visit continues to Berkeley. Aha, he did. So Crown Prince Haakon also attended Berkeley. I knew he attended one of them, but I wasn't sure which one. So they discussed climate and student life there, and also just COVID crisis in general. And then the virtual visit finished at Stanford, which is another university in the Bay Area. And this focus was on technology helping with climate, because that's where we're at. So those were the few events that happened in this virtual visit to San Francisco. I thought it was really cool. So Crown Prince Haakon has done a virtual visit before. He visited like the Middle East in a few hours on a virtual visit focused on the refugee crisis. And, you know, they make it work in a way that is really awesome. That one was much smaller scale, and I'm sure this one honestly was probably being talked about, like, potentially still happening, but has always been like a potential, like, this is probably going to end up being virtual, especially with California's really strict lockdown measures. So I don't know, I think it just, like, went off really, like, it went really, really well, and it focused on a lot of really good key areas. So that is what was going on in Norway. If I missed any events, which is completely possible because I'm just now remembering I didn't look at the right screen, I'll cover those tomorrow, but I'm watching the clock and we still have 2 countries to go. So we are just going to go ahead now and move on to Spain. there were 2 events for the Spanish royal family. And with these ones, you guys, I'm just going to move through them pretty quickly because honestly, how many times do I spend like way too much time on the Spanish royal family? And I know I do. But part of it is like, I've made no secret that they are and have been my favorite. I expect that to change at some point. It hasn't yet, and it's been a year and a half. But at some point it might. But also, I know the sources because I know the language and I'm learning the culture and all of those things. So I don't want to always do that, but like, I know I do it. So I'm just going to rush through these a little bit today. They weren't super exciting, and I'll just touch on like a few key things, or like one key thing. So today King Felipe visited the Civil Guard, like base or post, of Valencia de Alcantara, which is in Extremadura, which is near Portugal, not to be confused with Valencia, which is on the other side of the country. I was super confused. So, the Civil Guard is it's kind of a weird hybrid between military and police. So the Civil Guard serves in like a homeland capacity, but then they also have been sent to the front lines of like the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, probably mostly Iraq. I don't really know Spain's deal in the Afghanistan situation. What happened after 2004, I don't know. Or Iraq, I don't know which one. I think they're mostly in Afghanistan. But anyway, so the Civil Guard is in both. It's one of the more prominent military divisions in the country. And so he spent time touring the base, but there was a huge crowd of people to greet them. Again, I say, Spain has really strange rules when it comes to COVID. I like to pretend that some parts of the country are aware that there's a pandemic, but sometimes I'm not sure, because there were just lots of people there, and they all wanted to greet the king, and like, he was all for it. He was talking to anyone he could, just because they were there, and honestly, like, there's not always that chance because pandemic, and so maybe the cases in Extremadura are low enough that it felt more safe, things along that nature. So the one moment that I wanted to talk about, because it was adorable, and I wish there were video, and there probably is, I just haven't seen it yet. So there were a couple of kids there at the end of the visit, and King Felipe he will always talk to like school-age children and like have a good time, but then there was a baby, and Felipe doesn't really on rope lines like that. He doesn't really gravitate towards the babies. Like, I have watched him and Queen Letizia do these rope lines all the time, right? And Letizia will always just like beeline for a baby. It's so funny. And Felipe doesn't really do that. He'll like see a baby and like occasionally hold one, but today he was like kind of fawning over a baby. It was just really cute, and I loved it, and I will have this picture posted because it's adorable. So that was Felipe's event, and then today Queen Letizia attended Spanish Royal Academy Foundation, focused on like urgent and necessary needs, and so they were holding a business meeting. So that was her event for the day. Not a whole lot of detail, not a whole lot of pictures, not a whole lot of video. She was wearing black leather pants, which is amazing, and I love it. Yeah, that's my anecdote there. So with that, let's go ahead now and finish up this podcast with the Swedish royal family. finishing up with the Swedish royal family, we have a few events from the calendar, but no detail. I'm sure it'll be up by tomorrow morning. I don't know why they do this. So today, King Carl Gustaf, Queen Sylvia, Crown Princess Victoria, and Prince Daniel took part in a digital meeting with, she's not the Prime Minister. Hold on. They do this. She's not the Prime Minister because Sweden's Prime Minister right now is a man. So let me Google her name. It's Matilda Ernkrans. I said that very German, not Swedish. So she's a member of the Swedish Riksdag. Yes, I know that. She's the Minister for Higher Education and Research. So I don't know why Swedish translates everything minister to Prime Minister, but it's the Minister for Education and Higher Education and Research. So that was the first thing. I'm just going through in the order they posted things, and then Queen Sylvia took part in the Digital Mentor International Executive Committee meeting. So this is part of the Mentor organization that we've been talking a lot about. And then the big event. It's not super big, but it's kind of big. And they didn't share it on social media yet, which is sad for me. But today, Crown Princess Victoria participated in the Nobel Prize Summit, Our Planet, Our Future. And you guys, she left the palace, making her the first Swedish royal to do so in 2021. It is lovely. I knew how much I needed it because I've been thinking about it and I've been saying it, and like I'm no longer surprised when I get excited about them doing out of the palace events. But like I still get excited. I'm just not surprised when I do it anymore. And I knew I needed this, but like it was even better than I thought it was gonna be. Like even I kid you not, I saw one picture. I've done no research on the event, but just seeing her not in her office at her home was everything today. And I don't know, I'm like riding a roller coaster of emotions kind of for the past couple of days. Whatever, it's fine. Like I'm either really productive or really exhausted. I don't know which half the time. And sometimes it's both. But this was like the most exciting thing of the day. And there were a lot of exciting things for me today. So, but this, like seeing her, and it wasn't in a big event. It was a digital thing. There was her and one other person, and they were at separate podiums, but it was so wonderful. It was so wonderful. So it was more like these hybrid events that the Scandinavian royals are doing, where like they'll go to a place and the event is happening online, but the attendance is happening online, but the event is happening in person. So it's kind of like that. I'm sure these are happening everywhere, but I'm seeing them mostly in Scandinavia. So that was the day. You guys, it was a wonderful day to be a royal watcher, and also just like, I'm so sad that I didn't get to, that I chose not to participate too much in the day because I had other choices that I wanted to make, and because I'm starting a new job tomorrow that has different hours. Today is like my last, really it's not, because this week is like a half week for me, obviously. But I'm going to go to getting everything done pretty much on the weekends. And so today was like, let's get all prepared for that. You know, laundry, but also just errand running and things like that. So being able to like sit down and do the script and the preparation today just wasn't a priority, which there are days like that. I just wish it wasn't happening this week. Because this week is a really big deal. And I know it's a really big deal, but this is where we're at. I also have to start a new job, and all of those things need to happen. And once I'm settled into that routine, you guys, I think this podcast is I'm gonna use a cheesy phrase and say, I think this podcast is gonna like level up, and I'm super excited about it. So with all of that being said, I'm gonna end this podcast. We only went 5 minutes over. I'm so excited. And so I will talk to you all tomorrow. Please check out thedailyroyal.com, The Daily Royal on Instagram, like and review this podcast, and I will talk to you all tomorrow. Have a great Wednesday. Bye.